Australian country star Amber Lawrence is just like every other musician in the country. The tours have all come to a halt, so she's doing something different. She's bringing her show to you. Amber has released her very first DVD, Amber Lawrence Live, and she joins us at noise11.com. Amber Lawrence, welcome back to noise11.com. It's been too long.
Been a very long time, but thank you for having me.
Yes, well, while we're in the middle of lockdown and you're running around New South Wales free as a bird, it's a good opportunity to get you here and chat.
That's true, but I actually had my own incidents of being at a restaurant that then when anyone who attended that restaurant had to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and that level of self-isolation was you cannot leave your house. So I just came out of that only a few weeks ago. So, I've had my share too, don't worry.
That'll teach you for eating in fancy restaurants.
Tell me about it. The one time you do it and you get a text message the next day going, that hour and a half you spent at lunch? Well, here's your punishment.
Yes.
So, anyway.
Let's talk
Stories
about
we will
something
look
pretty
back on.
exciting because, after 8 albums, and I think, does that include the Christmas album? I think it's 8 albums, including the Christmas album, but not the last live record and not the kids' record. So there's quite the catalogue there that you've built up over these years, Amber.
There's a lot, actually. Yeah, that's right. So 6 studio albums, then 2 kids' albums, a collaboration album, a live album, and now next step, DVD. So, yes, I suppose there's plenty of product. If people want to hear me, there's plenty for them to listen to.
Sure. Well, Amber Lawrence Live is the DVD, / live album, I guess, because the audio version of it is on Spotify, so people can listen to the audio. But if they want to actually see, what you're talking about, they have to get the DVD. Yeah. That's an interesting experience, isn't it? Making a live concert into something that people are going to watch at home.
Exactly. And we filmed it last year in November, kind of one of the last concerts of the tour. So we knew what we were doing, which was great. We'd done the same show over and over. So it wasn't a nerve-wracking experience of, oh, gosh, this is going to be filmed. The filming itself, we didn't really do it with the intention of releasing the live DVD this year because I had other plans for this year. And I thought, well, we'll just film it and then we'll see what we do with it. And, I was going to release another new EP or something like that this year because of the success of Spark, my last album. I wanted to continue with that new energized sound. And then, of course, the song that I was going to release, then once COVID hit, it's actually funny that the song I was going to release was totally inappropriate because it was talking about what a great year we were having. That was kind of the theme of the song, and I have to hold that song until it is a good year. So then that just changed all my plans. I thought, well, I won't release new music this year. Oh, hang on a minute, I've got this disc of live footage, and we've recorded the audio as well. And so it worked out really well that I had the footage, the time to get it all together. And also, whilst some people think DVD is a medium of the past, it's amazing to see how many people have got DVD players still and are enjoying watching it in its kind of whole glory of the gig, all of the talking, all of the, if there's a note here and there that's not totally perfect, well, that's still in there. Everything's left in, and it's really exciting. People are enjoying it so far.
I'm a big fan of the live DVD actually because the one thing that people tend to forget is that HD sound that you're giving them, which you don't even get on a CD or a vinyl, do you? You're getting a 5.1 surround sound when it comes to a DVD, which is a remarkable experience for listening to music.
Yes, that's true. So the audio, we obviously got it, what we recorded on the day, we polished up and, probably added to a little bit just to really fill that out. And, I'm really proud of the audio on this. The live singing is all there, nothing's changed. And it sounds really good. So people, and I think that's the thing with DVDs, you don't necessarily sit there and watch it like minute after minute after minute. You put it on, you watch a bit, you go into the kitchen, but you can still hear it all. And and that warmth of the live concert. I loved having that playing through a house when I've watched other live concerts, not necessarily my own, which I had to watch thousands of times, obviously, before I sent it out, so I'm a bit over it.
Why was Newcastle chosen as the place where you've filmed this one?
Well, Lizotte at Newcastle is, the acoustics there are fantastic. The stage is beautiful. The lighting's beautiful, and always you're guaranteed to have a great audience there as well. So, yeah, I think aesthetically it was the best venue to choose, and also it was at the end of the tour where we knew what we were doing. So everything was like, it's about time we recorded the show and had a look and see what we look like.
But someone brought a kid along.
Yeah, that's right, me. Made it hard for myself, No, as I say on the DVD, it's hard to bring, my child to the gig, and then I realised, no, it's not that hard for me. It's hard for my mum who has to sit in the audience and keep him calm. But kids do love music, and he was only 18 months old at the time. But it's funny how he could sit there and watch a whole concert of music, even though, you'd expect tantrums. But once music and lights, I think it transfixes children. So, there's no tantrums. If there's tantrums, they're only from me.
I would imagine too, having a child that comes to see your shows at a very young age. So this is just mum going to work as far as what he'll be concerned in growing up. But it gives him a great early education into music.
It does. And you can see that. You can see him picking up the toy guitar. And when I pick up my guitar to play, he goes, I'll get my guitar. And he runs in and gets his plastic guitar and or his ukulele and bangs it around. Yeah, I think it's great that he's learning to appreciate music, and he absolutely appreciates the Wiggles big time. So, and I've learned to appreciate them as well as a result. I think, oh my God, wow, what they've been able to achieve. And now that I can see it through an 18-month-old, 2-year-old's eyes, I'm like, whoa, that's impressive.
I guess you've been very supportive of students, haven't you? You've been a mentor in schools. Tell us about your Be Your Own Superhero program.
Yeah, that's been going for a long time now, where I've probably 7 years ago, I started, when I was on tour, going into schools for different reasons, like 3 different reasons. One would be to give back, obviously, and share my journey of believing in yourself. 2, to get country music into kids' ears, because it's not a form of music that gets a lot of radio play or mainstream. So it was like, well, if I can sing it to the kids and they go home and they look it up on YouTube, you might find that you're turning school kids into country music fans. And then, 3, if we were in the town, the newspaper would always love to follow a story of, someone coming in to give a free concert. And they've always been free. I've done over 300 free kids shows, and the most important thing is I want kids to know that they can be whatever they want to be, and certainly not encouraging them to become singers or country singers. But I tell my story of never giving up, like the first talent quest I went in, kind of like, it wasn't The Voice, but it was like that for country music. I got told, no, go home, no good. So I went back the next week and I got told no. And then I went back the next week and I got told no again. And by then the kids are going, come on, this story's got to have a good ending. And then and then I tried out the 4th time. So it was for a thing called the Road to Tamworth. And the 4th time I got through. And then I ended up coming second in the grand final to Jessica Malboy. So it's kind of a story of, if I'd given up on one of those 4 attempts, I actually wouldn't be singing. I don't think I would be. I think, maybe in a covers band, but certainly not releasing original music and travelling Australia. So, the kids like that story of never giving up. And I get messages all the time from people that will say, oh, you came to my school 5 years ago. You came to my school last year. Do you remember me? It's like, oh, yeah, I remember you.
How old are these kids?
It's primary school generally. So I feel like I have the best result, the best connection with, from year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, because they're old enough to get excited and understand that they can have a dream, and then they're not too old for me to be uncool. So, generally a primary school, but lots of high schools too, but over the years it's mostly been primary schools.
You should have a merch stand on the way out and sell them a kids album.
Yeah, kids don't generally bring $25 to school. So, but they, you can see, you go home and you can see that, like, you'll always go home to comments on YouTube or Instagram messages. They find a way to connect with you after you've left the school.
2019, you had the Spark album, and with the live DVD, 7 of those tracks are showcased as live. Do you normally have that much new music in a live show when you do one?
No, but that was the intention of Spark. The intention was to actually match what I like to write with what I like to perform. Whereas I think previously, other albums, it's more been, okay, there's 1 or 2 songs that I can perform live, but the rest of it's singer-songwritery and it's not going to translate to the way I like to perform. So I love to perform in just a fun, happy, get the audience involved kind of manner. So Spark had a lot more albums that lent itself, a lot more songs that lent itself to that. And so they have really translated to being part of my live show. And, definitely at the expense of other songs, but I suppose you're grabbing new fans along the way and they want to hear what's new.
Yeah, the first album was The Mile, 2007, I'm thinking.
7, yeah.
Yeah, so there were 2 tracks in this set list from that. Good Girls Are Gonna Fly.
Yeah.
So how come those songs have survived to today?
Yeah, well, Good Girls, that's like the longest surviving song of mine, and it's always going to get played. It sits really well in the set. It's fun. We mash it up with a bit of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So that song stays. And then Gonna Fly, which is such fabulous English, Gonna Fly. I'm Gonna Fly. That made it into the set list because somebody requested it on the day. So that was in the part of the show where I said, "Does anybody come here to hear a song?" And someone yelled out, "Gonna Fly." And I went, "Oh, yes, I can play that. I know that one." So that's good.
How good are
Good
you
choice.
at just playing a song if somebody yells it out? Do you remember all of your lyrics over 8 albums?
No, definitely not. And there's like the first album, The Mile, yes, I could play every song of that, no worries now. But as the albums go along, God, I wouldn't be able to remember the lyrics or the chords of quite a few songs. But I had during lockdown isolation, I did a few album feature concerts. So I featured the first album, The Mile, online, and then I did another one where I featured my third album. And I had to go back and find lyrics and chords and relearn the songs because, some songs, sadly, you only play them once when you record them. And that's it. They get heard, I suppose, by other people, but you never sing them again. And that is sad. But anyway.
You've been successful with 4 Golden Guitar awards over the years. It must be exciting getting up to accept something like that from your peers.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first one I won was in 2015, and that was on my 4th album. So I had 3 albums leading up to that where I got nominated, never won. But, that's part of that story that I tell at schools of like, just keep going. And then finally when I won Female Artist of the Year, that was cool. That was such a milestone that I needed, just to kind of put me in the club. And once you win your first one, of course you want more. And I was so lucky to win 3 with the song called Our Backyard and an EP I did with Travis Collins. And then on Spark, which, is probably my most popular album, second highest selling album of the year behind Lee Kernaghan, I got 4 nominations and I didn't win any. So, I guess you can't win all the time. So I was disappointed though.
Amber, tell us about the time you performed for a whole stack of Prime Ministers.
Pretty much the kind of craziest bucket list item I've ever had. To write a song. I was asked to write a song about the Australia and American 100-year collaboration of nations, and I wrote a song called 100-Year Handshake, and then I got invited to perform it in New York City on an aircraft carrier in the Hudson River with Donald Trump, Malcolm Turnbull, and then Kevin Rudd, 3 other ex-Australian Prime Ministers in the room, plus Greg Norman, John Travolta, everyone who's pretty important in that American-Australian space. And there's me up on stage singing this song by myself, and everyone was silent whilst I sang it. Donald Trump was almost within hand-reaching distance. And, yes, it was kind of like a moment of, wow, how did this happen? It was very crazy.
Do you get their attention when you do something like that? Do they stop and listen? Is Donald Trump watching Amber Lawrence at that point, or is the mind wandering?
No, they were. No one was talking. The table of really important people, Donald Trump and Malcolm Turnbull, they sat there and they watched the song and they listened to the lyrics. And I was pretty, I stared them down because I was like, I'm not coming all the way to New York to be talked over. so they listened, and it was, there was so much security, as you'd imagine, in that kind of environment, Secret Service everywhere. And I thought at any moment whilst I'm waiting for my time to sing, I'm going to get the little whisper in the ear going, your song's been cancelled, there's a bomb threat or something. But no, it didn't happen. And song went well. It was broadcast, across all kinds of media, and definitely something that you couldn't even kind of go, one day I'm going to write a song that's going to be heard here. So it was a crazy experience.
Yes, I guess that's very impressive, but not as impressive, I guess, as playing in East Timor. That would have been very special.
Yeah, that was incredible. Back in 2008, I got asked to go to East Timor and play for our troops, and then was fortunate to be invited back twice, 2 other times, to sing in the Sinai in Egypt, and that was incredible, to travel 8 hours through a desert in flak vest and helmet with Glenn A. Baker and a few other artists to sing for our troops. And then again in 2016, I went to Afghanistan, and golly, it was just this privileged experience to go and see what our troops do and the living conditions and how lonely and how far away they are and the threats that they're under. So I feel really lucky to have been asked to go and sing for our troops and feel, just part of something bigger for a moment.
Mm. Once upon a time, a very wise philosopher said, when I grow up, I want to drive a truck. Do you know if that philosopher ever got to drive a truck?
Look, I think the biggest truck she's driven so far is like a high-ace vehicle, like the tour van. Not yet, but I've had many invitations to go and drive someone's Big Mac truck. Yeah, look, that's been one of and that song is in the set list permanently, and it's a kid's song, but it's really translated across all genres and all ages, and people just enjoy singing when they grow up. They want to drive a truck. And what kind of truck? A Big Mac truck.
What, because it says Big Mac as opposed to Big Mac?
Yeah, I think some kids think it's about, like a McDonald's burger, the Big Mac truck. But, yeah. Oh, look, it's led to lots of controversy. I mean, I got a fair bit of lots of love online about that song. And then I also got lots of detractors who said, well, Big Mac truck, why didn't you sing about a Kenworth, or... So it led to some wars between truck lovers. Yeah, it was a pretty funny experience, actually, writing that song.
Amber Lawrence, it's been great to talk to you. The new live album, Amber Lawrence Live, DVD, and, I call it a live album.
Yeah.
Is there actually a CD version?
No, there isn't, actually. At the moment, it's just digital. And I think it's just the fact that this DVD really came about through lockdown, and I wanted to provide that visual. And then we had the great sounding audio, but I just thought it's too much to be selling all sorts of things at the moment. It might come out eventually, but at the moment, get it online, and DVDs only available on my website or Songland Records.
Amber, thanks for joining us at Noise 11.
Thank you so much.